I mean,
That's a good idea.
You did leave a regular grill unattended this long, so I don't know what to think.
His own special on that big projector, just like he had been doing at many other points throughout the day. It was just a good ending, you know?
Yeah.
There's ways in which lines are delivered that just catch me off guard differently every time I watch through it.
Welcome back to Off the Air, the episode that never ever gets re-recorded.
Noah.
Yes, Jackson.
Noah, how was your past 7?
Damn, dude, I'm glad you asked how my past 7 was.
That was so fast. You were so ready for that.
I wasn't ready to get hit with it that fast, but I'll take it.
No, we probably should hold off on that for a second. Right before we started recording, Noah was like, "I have a good segue if one of you asked me about my past 7." So of course, within the first 3 seconds,
Yeah, as you do, as one does.
I mean, you gotta.
Yeah. One of those good like referential jokes that is only referential to literally you two, and no one else would have any way of understanding it unless I over-explain it and get to the point where we're at right now.
Honestly, funniest shit I ever heard.
Thank you.
It's like that scientist. You may have heard of him. He turned himself into a pickle. Very, very funny.
Einstein?
An original joke.
That's Rick.
No, I think he was a pickle.
That was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Speaking of funniest shit I've ever seen, you guys know about any songs that take place in
Fuck you. What type of transition is that?
Stupid. It's so dumb.
You thought I was going to talk about it, but then I read
So
Space
funny.
Song. So before we actually talk, I should probably say that this is actually being re-recorded.
What? No.
Yeah. Yeah, and in fact, in the original recording, we had talked about space songs.
Yeah,
or songs that take place in space for
or are about
too
space.
long.
Way too long.
Like 10,
frankly.
15 minutes.
Not even
Honestly,
arguably too long. It was objectively just too much talking about space songs.
Yeah.
I liked it quite a bit, and it sucks that no one's ever going to get to hear that, but I still want...
All you need to know is that I think sometimes metaphorically spatial songs are space songs, such as... Well, metaphorically cosmic, because spatial has a different... Anyway, metaphorically cosmic songs are space songs because, like, Fly Me to the Moon counts, even though it's an emotional moon.
Yeah, and I think that is super fair, and I want our great listener base to send me more space songs.
Yeah, and don't send them to me, and if you do, Dan will be happy.
That's true.
That was a whole bit in the space songs. Anyway, we were re-recording because I do everything in my life on a Microsoft Surface, which, if you don't know, has 7 megabytes of hard drive space.
I do like the Surface quite a lot.
But hey guys, it's a solid state drive, so it's okay that there's only 3 gigabytes in the entire system.
Jesus fuck.
No, I think I do think it's like 64 though.
That's still disgusting.
Let me check. I don't want to just like start slandering. But after I've downloaded all of my like Adobe things, and then the simplest things such as no games over 1 gigabyte on Steam, and
that's why you've been playing FTL.
I love FTL. And Chrome, I am left with like 6 gigs of hard drive space, and so as a result, I can only hold like 5 or 6 back episodes at once. After we recorded this last batch, I uploaded my audio, and then I was out of hard drive space, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna just delete my audio cache. But first, I was like, I'm gonna message Noah just to be sure, because I don't see it in the Dropbox. And he was like, I was like, did you get my audio? He said, yeah. I said, all right, cool. Deleted everything, and then an hour later, he's like, actually, by the way, I'm sorry, it was actually an audio from May that you would send.
A classic mistake to make, just an unfortunate timed mistake.
Yeah, it was bad.
Very funny.
So apparently, I had accidentally sent the wrong audio file, and
subsequently deleted the one that would have been there.
Yeah,
at least it was at least
because
partially
my hard drive
Noah's
space is
fault,
so. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, all I saw was OTA and a big string of numbers, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can't blame you for.
Yeah, no, I
got all the way to the point where I loaded it into the editor, and I synced up our claps. I'm like, well, we were all a little bit off from Jackson, but Dan and I were spot on with each other. That's impressive. So I positioned it so it would work, and I picked a random portion of the audio to listen to just see how, like, because Jackson, like, anytime anyone peaks, I want to make sure that the mic doesn't sound bad in the final edit, right? So I found this loud spot on Jackson's, and I turned it on, and lo and behold, if it wasn't Jackson's Alexa from a few weeks ago.
The Bluetooth thing.
The Bluetooth thing, yeah.
Oh no, it came back to bite me.
It was perfect timing, in my opinion.
I won't lie to you. That is.
I'm just gonna start periodically setting that off throughout episodes just to give Noah like a little bit of fear every time.
But yeah, it was quite funny to me. That was the audio that I got to be greeted with when it came back, which was
and then my audio was gone forever.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Here we are.
And there's a lost episode out there.
Honestly, I think it was a good episode, and it does make me sad that no one will get to hear it.
It unfortunately was a pretty good one. It reminds me of that time that we lost the last, like, what was it? Almost 30 minutes of Dan's audio one time.
And you replaced me with the thing from Peanuts.
Charlie Brown.
But
he calls it Peanuts. Who's this guy?
But
I like. Okay, it wasn't 40. It was like the last 20
librarian
minutes.
Or something.
But like, while I could get away with doing that for the 20 minutes at the end of an episode, I really couldn't get away with it when, I mean, Jackson talked a lot the last episode, and I felt like it would have been disingenuous to replace an hour and 10 minutes of Jackson talking and making valid points.
I should have just listened back to the your guys' audio and just tried to splice in what I had said, more or less.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that would have been
comedy
funny.
fucking gold.
Just be like, yeah, so here's where I think I said. Who knows? Maybe one day that'll happen.
Unlikely, frankly.
Very unlikely. So we talked about a good bit of stuff, but there's been some changes within our past one.
It's true.
Noah, how is your past one?
You know, I'm glad you asked, Jackson. When I learned that we were going to be re-recording, I figured I may as well brush up on the one topic that we had decided to talk about that I was entirely unfamiliar with, which was Bo Burnham's Inside.
I'm sorry, you were more familiar with space songs?
Distinctly.
Yeah, everyone's familiar with space songs. It's called having a heart, Dan.
I guess what you should have said is more familiar and more interested.
See, I was going more off the on the I think you should leave strain, which I was pretty damn familiar with as someone who has.
Space song looks pretty good. You mind if I get a bite of it? I'm just kidding.
I hate
all
of this. That's a pretty tasty looking space song, man. I wish I had Noah's space song. Just kidding.
I hate this so much.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, but damn. Man, someday you'll watch it and you'll know. No. Yeah, I think you should leave season 2 came out. What is there to say that we haven't already said?
Well, you know, we've said quite a bit, but I just think it's hilarious.
It's really good. Unironically, it's a really good special. I would heavily recommend anyone who likes to laugh should check it out, I think.
Wait, are we talking about Bo Burnham or are we talking about, because you said a special?
Oh, you did say a special, but I wasn't going to call him out on it.
Okay,
I lied.
I just want to make sure which one we were talking about.
The very special second season of I Think You Should Leave.
It is very special to me.
You guys, what it comes down to isn't I Think You Should Leave everyone's best friend?
No. I can say with some certainty that it is not, in fact, my best friend.
Yeah. I wish I had Bo Burnham's Netflix special. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. That was so good. There's so many really good bits, though. There's so many classics. I mean, I think the first episode is chocked full of them. With like the haunted house tour.
The haunted house tour was really good.
You said we could swear.
Oh my gosh. I was just something about the whole Dan Flashes bit was it was the most relatable bit I think I've seen, but not to me. I just feel like I've heard, honestly,
you're paying for the pattern. The complexity of the pattern determines the price.
You know, it reminded me of Marine. Just a bit. Like, it's not something he would have done.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not something he would have done necessarily, but I feel like I've heard him try to make a similar argument about something. You know?
I mean, but you do pay for the complexity of the patterns. This one was $150 and it's bargain bin.
It's just so funny.
The price goes up whenever the lines crisscross. Fuck you, Doug. It's so good. The amount of, like, just unbridled rage that he immediately switches on as soon as Doug critiques anything about Dan Flashes. It's perfect. I really do think that it, the tweet from Northern Line that's like anger, it gets that anger is the funniest emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really do. I feel that because it's just like watching this man scream at someone over pattern shirt colors and complexity. It's just hilarious to me.
not something that I would ever think would be as funny as it is. But then I sit here and I watch this man flip shit about, or like in season 1 where his date is eating all the loaded nachos.
Yeah.
And he's like really angry about it, but he's not willing to actually tell her he thinks she's hogging all the good nachos. So he goes and tries to convince the restaurant owner to come over and say that they have a rule that one person, if you're getting an app to share, can't eat all the loaded nachos.
You can't eat all the fully loaded chips. One person can't eat all the fully loaded chips. Because I'm getting like nothing. I'm getting like just chips with maybe like a little nugget of meat. I've seen the show too much. I've already watched season 2 twice.
Damn.
Season 1 a lot. I just think it's just so funny to me. Like, it's just so like genuinely entertaining. And there's ways in which lines are delivered that just catch me off guard differently every time I watch through it.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the funniest bits in season 2 that's really growing on me is just the one with the guy with the hat. It's like a fedora with the safari hat neck flaps.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
They're like, have you seen Brian's hat? He's like, Me? Objection, Your Honor, relevance? That's what I'm saying. It's so good. It's just, and then like the part where they're like, I think he had dice in his pocket, but he's afraid to show anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He like throws the dice on the floor, like, leave the fuck alone. It's so good. I think Tim Robinson is like an incredible comedian and actor. And I also love like Connor O'Malley. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his stuff on YouTube.
I don't think I am.
But whenever he makes an appearance on I Think You Should Leave, it's always some of my favorite sketches, and it just like makes me laugh as soon as I see him because I'm like, this guy does not miss. I think it's a great show. It's a great season. I would watch it again, which would be a third time, and I probably will. I just think it's really quotable in terms of like day-to-day interactions with other people who have seen the show. It very much creates like a nice like in crowd, not of like even like memes, but just of like references.
It's one of those things where I'm always going to regret that my brain just does not remember funny references in shows. Mm-hmm. Like for the life of me, unless I've watched it far, far too much, I'm not going to remember anything. And this is a show that really makes me really, really wish that I did remember anything. Because like every time you reference something, I'm like, I remember that. That was really funny.
There's not a guy. It's Bozo. Bozo did the dub. Clown Pewter probably got no games. There's so many good, like, there's so many bits that just like, they're just fun to reference. Like, I really like referencing so far. I mean, it's only been like a week or two, but like the from the first episode from the Ghost Tour when he's just like, I'm not trying to get a laugh. I'm not trying to be funny. But do any of these fuckers ever come down out of the ceiling and take a huge shit? It's so stupid, but it's so good just because like it really, like it just encapsulates that like ridiculous character's, just his persona as this guy who is genuinely asking the haunted ghost tour guide if that is a thing that happens. It's stupid, but it's funny.
He just doesn't know a better way to ask, and for some reason that's the funniest, absolute funniest thing.
It's hilarious to me. It also catches, like, it caught me off guard the first time I watched it because I expected it to kind of get one of those, like, it subverted me by doing what would be normally expected. Like, I expected one of those classic I Think You Should Leave kind of twist endings where they would, instead of kicking the guy out of the ghost tour, everybody on the ghost tour would be like, yeah, come on, and like get mad at the host.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was kind of expecting like someone on the tour to be like, someone's got to do it. Kind of like,
come on, man, he just wants to know if there's any donkey dicks that come down from the ceiling.
Yeah, and like I thought that would have been really funny, and that's what I expected. And when they kind of subverted that by being like, no, these people actually just want to kick him out, that got me too.
Mm-hmm.
And then when his mom's like, did you make any friends? That just kind of like is heartbreaking. In like some way, just because like something about it just stings, because you're like, no matter what he's being weird at a ghost tour for, this guy's lonely. But then you'll go right back to being like, any of these fuckers. Just the roller coaster that it takes me on is very enjoyable.
Couldn't agree more. But I want to give Dan a chance to talk because Dan's been a little quiet. I know. Listen, Dan.
I just don't have anything good to contribute.
No, I know you haven't seen the show, and that's okay. That's okay. Someday you'll watch it, and someday you'll really probably like it. But until then, Jackson's just gonna keep dropping references here and there, and sometimes I'll remember them, and sometimes I won't. And it'll be our secret show.
Really good Netflix. That's a really good reference. I wish I had Noah's reference. I'm just kidding. It's so stupid. It's so good.
It's not.
And you're not going to talk about the fact that I just ate his burger. I need to have a video of you saying, it's funny. It's funny. All right, we can talk about the other funny things.
So Dan Jackson, have you seen Bo Burnham's Inside?
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that you wanted to bring this up and you watched this before either of us.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
We've been holding off. I appreciate you not like talking about it too much while we've been like catching up.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. So I think everyone knows I'm pretty well noted as a guy who has never watched a Bo Burnham before.
That's like the only thing I know about
Burnham.
Yeah, who is he? What's he burning? You know?
He fucking circus? P.T. Barnum? Circus.
Did they ever say come to the fucking circus?
Stop.
But yeah,
it sounds like this actually... I wish we were a video podcast because I feel like my face as the two of you just are losing your damn mind would be comedy gold in and of itself.
Any of these fuckers just come down out of the ceiling and say they took a massive... we can say whatever the hell we want. Jizz. I'm sorry, what? So good. Okay.
Anyway,
talk about something else.
This is the first Bo Burnham special I've actually ever seen. Until dating Nina, I had never even watched any of his bits before. I had just heard, oh yeah, Bo Burnham, he's that one depressed, edgy comedian.
I mean, that is fair. He is both of those things.
Depressed and a comedian.
I would say he's not really that edgy anymore. Hasn't been for a while, honestly.
The 5 years that he stopped doing comedy? Because he was pretty edgy up through the end of his comedy career.
Actually, that was something that I never knew until the end of this comedy special. I did not know that he's been retired for the last 5 years.
Yeah, he made a movie. It's great. I think I talked about it on the podcast, actually.
You probably did. I feel like I remember that coming out, and I remember ignoring it because I didn't know who Bo Burnham was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you also didn't go to school.
That's true. I was like, nah.
What are you gonna do?
School.
Yeah. Noah went to the School of Hard Knocks on Facebook. That's for sure. Works at Swag Loading 100%.
It's true. I'm glad everyone knows these ineffable truths about me.
I do like that we're getting all this.
Really throwing in ineffable, yeah.
I do like all this deep Noah lore.
Can't F these truths.
Well, yeah, these truths are infuckable. That's actually short for.
Yeah, can't fuck truth.
I mean, where's the lie? You know,
probably getting plowed.
I'm sorry. I'm
gonna fucking. We usually record at like 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And so we're usually like Noah's fresh off work. I'm fresh off whatever the hell I've been doing all morning. Whatever.
Cocaine.
I wish.
It's fine. Don't talk about me. It's okay.
Jackson, I actually don't know what you do on Sunday mornings. As far as I'm concerned, you like cease existing as soon as the podcast is over and start existing again when it starts up again.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like that's the extent of our interaction as people. So like, I hope that's not, you don't take that too personally.
No, it's true. It's what I actually do.
Yeah. So fucking,
we're in a non-offensive way, Jackson. I never think about you.
I mean,
that's fine. You don't have to. It'd be weird if you thought about me all the time.
Right? That's not how I feel about it. Like, I don't know. Whatever. My point being, we're usually much more coherent and emotionally, mentally stable because we haven't all been.
I'm also in a lot of gastrointestinal duress that might result in potential complications, but we'll worry about that after the hour concludes.
After the hour. Yeah. Did you want to talk about that, by the way?
No, not really. I mean,
do you want to talk about your intestinal problems?
Hey, I didn't know. I didn't know if that was a conversation you wanted to have on the air.
I mean, it's kind of like it's not a very pleasant conversation.
That's fair. I'm just asking.
Conversation we've been trying to have for the last 10 minutes.
Yes.
It's about the
Doc's hard cider. The hard cider this week.
Dan, I didn't know there was a hard cider this week.
I
The
mean,
more
I
you
was trying
learn,
to get
honestly.
a moment of time at any point in the last like 20 minutes to do a nice snap, but like 10 minutes ago, well, last 15 minutes, 5 minutes ago, I gave up and just cracked it open.
That's the way to do it.
Talk about the.
Yeah, let's talk about Bo Burnham. Let's talk about Bo Burnham. I'm sorry. Noah, this is your, like you said, this is your first Bo's Burnham.
I've never Bo's to Burnham before, and I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy it. Not in a way that was like, wow, this is so incredibly groundbreaking. It was one of those things where I watched it, I'm like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah,
and not in a bad way.
No,
you know, it was fine.
Good. Yeah, I think that is the normal reaction, like, to it as a piece of media. I think that is a normal take.
Yeah, I found it entertaining. I think I liked it a little more than Noah, but I think at times it seemed a little bit like, and it just kind of like dragged it down a little bit for me, a little bit pretentious at times, in a non-helpful way.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of whether or not that was the point, that doesn't mean it
wasn't. Yeah.
I give it like an 8. Yeah. 8 out of 10.
Nice. I think that's reasonable. I liked a lot of the bits. Actually, I took notes. This feels really stupid now, but I was at work. I had it open on the side screen, and I took notes.
It's like the one movie we did, and presumably all the ones you do on a weekly basis over at Noah.
Casual Obsession, the horror movie podcast where we talk about horror movies.
There we go. Got you.
I got a horror movie to talk about when we're done with this.
I would like to hear about that too, because I'm pretty excited. All right, so let's see. I was telling Jackson a little bit about this before we actually before you got here, Dan, but I really enjoyed healing the world with comedy, because it actually reminded me a lot of the conversations that we had at the beginning of pandemic when we were both like, or when we were all like, so what are we gonna do? What does our silly comedy show do here? We don't have any sort of the same reach or anything, but like,
no, but it was still a very real conversation still there. That happened. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I remember all of us talking about that and being like, yeah, so what exactly do we do here?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
I mean, I think that's kind of part of why I wasn't a huge fan of that song, is because my take on what we like should have done is kind of the same on my, like, not to like diminish any situation, but like there are so many things to talk about and make jokes about that you can avoid pretty much any topic if you choose to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In a way that is like still maintaining like a level of respect and dignity that like the situation, you know, demands. But like just the like, I don't know, I kind of found the song a little bit like because just the idea of like who would joke at a time like this. At any given point in time, there's some absolutely awful catastrophe going on, and to say that like no comedy is valid in those ways, that you can't make any jokes, like if everyone died and Noah and I were alone in a room, I'd probably just be like, at least once in my life, you know, like there's gonna be a Bo Rat joke, there's gonna be some stupid like reference that's gonna come up, there's gonna be some kind of joke to lighten some kind of mood, regardless of whether or not it's a poor taste joke.
Yeah, or topically relevant or anything like that. Yeah, no, it's how comedy works. Like I don't know.
Well, especially when it comes to a time when it's like, hey, so what's going to happen here? What do we have going on? Is there anything that we actually can do, or are we just stuck vibing like this?
Spoiler alert, the answer is usually stuck vibing. Just as a heads up.
Yeah, pretty much. And I got no issues with being stuck vibing.
In that particular instance, the stuck vibing was also the right option.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing you could do to help.
Imagine it being just that being the lesson is just go back inside and stay home. That's a weird lesson.
Yeah. It's just a SpongeBob episode indoors.
It is.
But an hour and a half.
But a year long. I mean, an hour and a half long.
Not to like diminish his suffering, because I'm sure that it...
SpongeBob's or Bo's?
SpongeBob's. Mm-hmm, because... no, but Bo's...
He was going through it in that episode, okay?
Mm-hmm. He really was, you know? Yeah, because it's clear, like, I talked about this in the infamous Lost episode, but there were some of my friends who watched this and respectfully took it far too seriously and told me, yeah, I looked up whether or not he had killed himself after we watched it. And I gotta be honest, the ending was one of the funniest parts of the whole thing to me. It was a really good bookend to the entire Peace song. Like everything flowed together. It all hit at a climax. And then, oh, look, he goes back outside and he just wants to be back inside again. It's like, you know, it was a relatable moment. It was like, yeah, no, that sounds about right. That's pretty much the culmination of the whole thing. And it just ending on him watching his own special on that big projector, just like he had been doing at many other points throughout the thing. It was just a good ending, you know?
Yeah, it was very well done.
His most depressing stuff was not even in the last 20 minutes of it. There was more stuff in the halfway point, like right after the intermission. Which actually, that was another thing I loved is the musical themes pre and post intermission.
Yeah, I was actually I totally meant to talk about that during the last episode. But yeah, no, he did a really good job of motifs in the whole thing. I didn't catch it the first time.
What was it? It was the Healing the World with Comedy was the motif for the first half. And then it was Welcome to the Internet for the last of it.
With a little bit of scattered throughout the whole thing was the Look Who's Inside Again.
I think the best part was the subtitles on several occasions, like 3 or 4 occasions, just said that he was scatting, and that made me laugh.
That is very funny. Scatting is a funny word.
He was going baba da beep bop. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's him.
Look at the scat man.
Yeah, he really is on it.
There's on my second watch through. Like almost every musical theme is repeated at least once. Even down to the when he's doing the video game, it's a slightly modified melody line and very slowed down of the Look Who's Inside Again. That's the melody line over that scene, and I don't know his music. I totally forgotten about that until you brought it up. But yeah, his melody lines on it were very, very, very well done. And
I did love how he peppered in the inside music. As it was just all in all, it was an incredibly enjoyable special that if you're a fan of Bo Burnham, I cannot imagine you not liking it. You know?
But what if you're not a fan? What if you're a Noah?
I mean, if you're a Noah, then you're still going to enjoy it, just not as much as someone who's like a fan of Bo Burnham, you know?
That's fair.
That's my take, at least. It's like, there were no problems with it. It was an absolutely just fine special that just did not happen to be made for me.
That makes
Doesn't
sense.
mean I didn't like it.
Yeah. No, I think it's super fair to be like, well, it's good for people. And I'm not even saying it's bad for me. It's just not necessarily my first thing, right?
Like if I were going to pick something to watch again, I'd probably pick I Think You Should Leave. It's faster. It's more my specific brand of comedy.
Yeah. Well, I also do think it's in a non-disparaging way funnier. There's not the serious.
I was gonna say more comedic and less cerebral. Not in like it's dumb comedy, but in it isn't trying to make maybe as much of a overt point.
Yeah, it's not trying to be so introspective. It's much more, yeah, he is screaming at a man about the shirts. He did threaten to eat his mom's entire head if he didn't stop talking smack on Dan Flash's shirts.
Which, I can't blame him. I would do it too.
Look, you pay for the patterns, Noah. If you're saying the shirts are overpriced, then you're saying the patterns aren't that complicated.
It's true. I hadn't thought about that. I'm sorry, Jackson. I didn't mean to.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, I think Inside's good. There were some times where it just it missed its mark. I think it was overall funny.
Do you think
and overall entertaining?
Do you guys think that this is one of those things that gets worse the longer the fan base has a hold of it?
Bo Burnham?
I Think You Should Leave.
I Bo Burnham, not so. I guarantee you. I guarantee you from the outside, I Think You Should Leave gets worse the longer I'm in a room with you two. Yes, but
I mean honestly, but it gets better the more the fans get a hold of it, though.
I mean that's fair. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because there's so many. Does Inside get worse? I think it gets not only worse based on the fan reception, but it also loses
meaning.
A lot of its relevance too.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree
very quickly.
Yeah.
Nothing against his content that he created, but it is it's very much a snow globe. You know, it is something that people who in 5 years, when the shock of pandemic will have worn off fully, hopefully, it's not going to hit the same way. Not in a bad way. It just is not going to hit the same way.
No, but I mean, yeah, I agree 100%. And I think that my always number one gripe with certain pieces of media is that, like, yeah, your media is great, but your fan base takes it to just the worst place. Like, it just isn't taking it to a place that's healthy or good or like interesting or like relevant to what you're actually trying to do with it. Like, I was doing, because of course I am, because I'm that kind of person. I was doing a lot of like reading up on like, oh, how where was the risk, like, because things like how it was made, how it got started, like all that. And I was just scrolling through comments, and somebody pointed out that he was really into Bo Burnham until it turned into the like thing that every edgy 16-year-old on DeviantArt was into. And I think that's a very valid criticism that like certain groups of people. Also, the amount of people thirsting over Bo is disgusting and creepy. Just saying, just throwing that out there.
I haven't seen. I've seen one post about the special outside of here.
Oh, really?
And it was someone doing a visual parallel of different skits before and after the halfway point.
Interesting.
Because I only follow people who have at least 8 swags. I have a algorithm, but I can't let you into the chart.
No, understandable.
Understandable.
You can't let that,
I wouldn't
can't
let
let
me
that
in
information
either.
become public knowledge.
And so I think as a result, I don't. But I also don't really hear much about anything.
That's very true. As we've established,
And the only
your
reason I
existence
see so
begins
many
in-
jokes about, literally, the only reason I see so many jokes about I think you should leave is because I follow an account on Twitter called I think you should leave Turbo Team.
Amazing.
And they just are always posting like basically just like quotes and references and like little like images. And so I see a couple of those and I'm like, oh, I know that reference.
I know that.
But other than that, like I don't really, which is something I actually was thinking about the other day. I'm like, most of my exposure to things isn't actually to content, but rather just to like obscure, like not even obscure, but just like to words and ideas that are associated with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't see things about new shows. I see things about like, oh damn, new type of fish just got discovered. Looks kind of weird, everybody. And I'm like, it's kind of weird.
Damn, that sure is kind of weird, huh?
But I also like I don't talk about like the kind of things I watch that aren't discussable because I watch, I don't even know why, but I watch like at least an hour's worth of like taxonomy videos a day at least. It's like the science of like determining what genus and species, determining the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species of a creature.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, that sounds fun.
Sick as hell. It's really fun, but it's just like, what am I gonna do? Talk to you about like, I don't know, alligators? No, not really.
I mean, if you wanted to, we can talk about alligators.
I don't even want
No, I'm with
talk
Jackson on this one, where it's like, as cool as alligators are, it would not be a great full episode worth of content.
Yeah, and that's why like I don't know, I just feel like sometimes the things I have to talk about on my podcast are like actually not that relevant to my everyday. Because I mostly just spend my time watching documentaries or like weird videos or just sitting sometimes just looking at the wall, looking at a screen, looking at 2 screens and the wall.
Damn.
It's great.
That's so many walls and so many screens.
It's 2.
Yeah. Sometimes 2. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I don't hear things about. So I'm not really familiar with like how a fandom works, other than every once in a while someone will be like, the My Hero Academia fandom is canceled because they did this. I'm like, what do you mean they? Like everybody? Or are you telling me that like some weird person posted something and that's kind of strange? In which case you should probably just say some weird person posted something and that's kind of strange.
It was actually every single one of them.
I just don't I don't really genuinely grasp like how an internet fandom works because
you don't interact with them.
Don't really.
One of those things where you
them.
enjoy a selection of internet creators. However, you're also not over here saying, yeah, I'm in the Northern Lion fandom. So
I mean, I am for sure.
Yeah, but
the Northern Lion fandom. I wouldn't say past 7 if I wasn't. But like,
is that,
I think
is
it's
that
just
a him bit?
It's a Dan Giesling bit.
Okay.
Not even Dan Giesling bit. It's just like that's just how he refers to weeks or 7s. And I think that's funny. And I think it's fun to say.
I would agree.
But it's also like that's not really like the kind of fandom that it's like a 32-year-old bald man. Like, what are you gonna do? Write a fan fiction? I don't think so, buddy.
I mean, there's 100% chance that there's Northern Lion fan fiction. You understand this?
Oh, I mean, yeah, sure, there is, but like, it's not.
Jackson
the
wrote it.
majority of
Okay,
anyone
get out
interacting.
of here, Dan.
Someone that wrote it.
Most of the people interacting with it are just like,
dude, what the fuck?
hey, man, you see the new Slay the Spire video? Yeah, it was pretty good. I think he made some misplays there on the second floor, but overall, I'm enjoying that he's going back to the game. Everyone's like, "Thank you, good talk," and that's literally all of the subreddits he has. And then sometimes people will be like, "Hey, remember that one time when his friend Michael A.L. Fox typed 'I feel down the stairs and ravioli on me' as a prompt to Quiplash?" Everyone's like, "Yeah, that made no sense."
That was a weird prompt.
So it's just so tame. So like all my experience with like fandoms and like internet fan groups are really tame.
Yeah,
I
think it's a good
and why
thing.
not? Honestly,
I think it's just because I don't I don't know, go into like certain like circles and certain websites, I suppose.
no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
If
I think it's
staying out of
very
certain
safe.
groups is the correct decision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like have a problem with them. I just don't know how they work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you're hanging out in the fandom that will thirst after Northern Lion, then maybe you should reconsider. Respectfully.
Well, maybe.
No.
Well, you're saying no, but
he's
then you're like, people thirsting after Bo Burnham is bad.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. Curious.
I say curious. Like, I don't. Yeah, I haven't really interacted with much about like people saying things, but from what both of you have said, it seems like people are definitely taking things a little too far out there. And I will say, I think this is probably the biggest reach he's ever had.
I would definitely agree with that. It honestly, it reminds me of my sister was telling me about this one guy when she worked at the truck stop who was just like, oh, kids today couldn't handle real edgy comedians like, oh, what's his name? I can't remember who he is, but you know who I'm talking about.
There are many that have gotten canceled because they have bad takes, but yes.
Oh my gosh, I feel like an idiot because I can't remember who he is.
I feel like Carlin's like one of the big ones that people always bring up.
No, it wasn't Carlin. It was
No, because I feel like if you really like George Carlin, I feel like you wouldn't be the kind of person to go into a gas station and complain about
freaking
how people are sensitive.
You would
probably
think,
be
huh?
like, I'm a radical libertarian now, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. I feel like if you like George Carlin, you either end up as a libertarian or like a communist, and there is no in between.
Yeah,
I think that you're right.
I think you're very right.
Dice Clay, Andrew Dice Clay. That's who it.
Oh wow, I haven't
is.
heard that name in a very long time.
That's the Star Wars Battlefront people.
Yeah.
That's right, everybody. It's a joke, everybody.
Damn
I'm in a.
He did a Star Wars joke.
I'm very proud
Star
of you.
Wars jokes.
He
yeah.
said it couldn't be done.
Yeah, my sister, when that guy told her that, she was like, have you ever heard of Bo Burnham? And the guy very proudly said no.
Well, yeah, of course.
And it's like, well, if you like dice, then you probably would like Bo Burnham. But
I mean, I heard he had a
whatever.
couple of dice in his pocket, but he didn't want to show anybody.
That's what I heard too.
I hate all of you.
It's very funny, Dan. Someday you'll understand.
You don't understand. It's very funny.
You know what? You know what wasn't funny?
Bless
you. I watched the new Netflix movie Fear Street Part 1.
Oh.
You say it wasn't funny because you didn't like it, or just because it was a horror movie?
Well, I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a comedy, really.
Because it definitely wasn't supposed to be funny. Maybe it was
Yeah,
supposed
no,
to be
it
humorous,
definitely wasn't
but
trying to be. Yeah, and at times there was some levity given, but that's normal for any kind of intense, movie.
I would honestly I'd be shocked. You did
I
not.
didn't really like it that much. No.
Unfortunate, but I guess I'm
think
also not
just-
surprised.
There was just way too many instances where, like, I mean, I'm not really the kind of person, like, because you know how a lot of people are like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that in a horror movie? Like the classic Scream, why would you run up the stairs?
Yeah.
Like, there's little nitpicks you can have, like, where's your cell phone? But that doesn't, some of those things are overridden. It's 1994, there's no phones. Like, I just didn't get a lot of things in it, because, like, I don't want to, like, spoil anything because it is new, but there was, like, a point where, like, they were trying to, like, restart someone's heart.
Mm-hmm.
And they had previously been in an ambulance that was working, and they were trying to get away from, like, monsters of sorts that are shown to be corporeal and physical, but also supernatural. There's
yeah. It's a horror movie.
But yeah, so it's kind of like a Michael Myers type situation where, like, yeah, there's like that supernatural presence of evil, like you can't stop it conventionally, but it also is very much limited to physical mobility. So, like, in a car, you have a distinct advantage.
Yeah,
like Michael Myers cannot catch a car.
Well, I mean,
okay, well, he will find a way to, like, look at you so hard that your car, like, turns off the road, because that's just how those movies work. But anyway,
man, I hate that. Like, I hate how right you are. I hate how right you are.
Like, they'll see him standing on the side of the road, they'll be like, I have to drive my car into the ditch now. Because, like,
the
as
man
much as
who's been chasing me and trying to stab me for the last whole movie, no, I can't hit him with my car. I'd rather drive into a tree.
I mean, I would personally not hit him with a car. I would just drive around him and keep going because the man is fast, but he's not going 35 miles an hour or more.
Is there a movie in which they
just smack the killer with a car?
They just smack the killer like within the first 10 minutes, and the rest of the movie is just them dealing with like the emotional aftermath of that.
I know because there's not really any horror movies where they kill the horror villain in the first 10 minutes, and then it's about the emotional weight of that.
Well, it wouldn't be a horror movie, yes, but is there a movie like that like I can go out and find?
Maybe
there is actually a horror movie like that where
about vehicular manslaughter.
No. So what happens is they kill the guy who is set up to be the killer. I can't remember what it is. I just remember having watched it, which means it probably was on Netflix between 2014 or like 2013 and 2016.
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, actually,
like the thing, there's like the guy who everyone's like he's gonna because he's like super sketchy and he's like threatened people.
Yeah.
But anyway, they actually do that almost play for play in this movie.
Yeah,
they like literally do that. I know
that sounds amazing.
But also
it's a questionably quality movie.
But before I finish,
before we get off topic, sorry.
So like they've shown that like the things they're being chased by are only capable to move at like a normal human running speed, which is still pretty fast. You know, they're pretty quick. But in a car, you have the distinct advantage of being able to drive.
I apologize. Keep talking. I'll be right back. Keep recording and everything. I forgot I have food on the grill.
Oh my God, Noah.
I know. No. I'll be right back. It's fine. I'll tell you about it when I return.
We should take a quick recording pause here.
Yeah, I can wait. I feel like
so that way Noah will be able to hear it because if he has to, he'll have food on the grill,
bruh.
And he's had food on the grill for 45 minutes now, so he's got to go fix that. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and be back then real quick.
Yeah, dude, go. I'm gonna take some bites of my macaroni salad.
Okay. Break, I guess.
Audience, listen. Noah's made some dumb choices here today, but if you want to hear us make more dumb choices, go to Patreon. Or if you can't afford to, and still want to support us, talk about us on all the platforms. Leave us a review on iTunes. It's a really good way to help out, make people find the show. Means I can still eat more macaroni salad, which is really why we're all here.
Why are you eating macaroni salad?
Because Jackson ran off to go to the bathroom because we were like, damn, Noah's an idiot.
Well, let me tell you, Dan, I guess it's been out there cooking for almost an hour and a half, almost 2 hours now.
God,
but
you dumbass.
No. It's on purpose. It's low heat. It's just chicken thighs. Borderline impossible to overcook. Not true, but bear with me.
Borderline.
But I've been cooking them off heat. Mostly I'm trying to like smoke them up a lot.
Mm-hmm,
but in the let's just for the sake of convenience, let's say 2 hours. In the 2 hours that they have been cooking, we went from raining earlier this afternoon to clear blue skies as far as the eye can see. I was thrilled. Nothing at all made me think the rain would come back tonight.
Oh,
but no, it's actually raining again right now. So I went outside and there's like, my grill's just getting rained on. Luckily, it's closed. The chicken's fine.
I was about to ask, is it an open or a closed grill?
It is a closed. I would not have left an open grill unattended this long.
I mean,
that's a good idea.
You did leave a regular grill unattended this long, so I don't know what to think.
No, I had intended on dipping at about the 25-minute point, which was for listeners about 20 minutes ago. I had planned on dipping at that point so that I could check it, but I did not.
So funny,
but it's fine. I just need to move it over the heat for a hot second, and then take it off.
We're all back and going then?
Yeah, we are all back and going. Okay. The grilling is fine. Everything's cool. Tell us about Fear Street.
Talking about... Oh, so anyway, the thread is set up to be like a Michael Myers type, like, well, slightly different, but you get the drill. Like, it's physical. It can't just like teleport.
Yeah.
And they're in a car, and these things can't drive probably, and they're speeding away in the car. It's not just a car, it's an ambulance, and they need to stop and restart someone's heart.
Okay.
So what do you do?
Wait, if you're in an ambulance and you have to start...
You're in an ambulance, yeah.
Okay, and they have to stop to restart someone's heart?
No, they have to stop and restart someone's heart. Not like stop the car, but like stop someone's heart, restart that heart.
Okay, so I assume you'd use those little paddles, right?
No, you actually stop the car and go to a grocery store.
Oh, why? You know what? That makes sense.
Because it's an ambulance, which everyone knows ambulances are definitely not the best and by far the best way to stop and start someone's heart well in a situation where you're also heavily mobile when you're being chased.
Yeah.
As we all know.
Yeah.
Let me guess. When they got to the grocery store, they probably lost access to that ambulance after that, right?
No, actually.
No?
They just stayed in there and then things got bad.
I love the idea of them they come back out of the ambulance and the ambulance is just gone. You just get a shot of the killer just driving away in it.
It just didn't really make like that. Like there was a lot of other moments that also kind of confused me.
Mm-hmm. But that was a biggie.
Like that was the biggest. I was like, I just don't know if you have to restart someone's heart and stop someone's heart. Also, the best thing you could do would be, hold them down and like suffocate them in the ambulance, or even use a defibrillator. But that's a little bit more touchy because you can kill someone with a defibrillator. But
you're trying to stop their heart. You're gonna give them oxygen deprivation.
Exactly.
If you fucking suffocate them.
What?
If you suffocate them.
When you suffocate, you die.
Yeah, but you would lose. You're more likely to. I feel like based on no information, you're much more likely to lose a shitload of like brain cells due to oxygen deprivation than if you just stop and restart the thing. If you just turn it off and back on again.
Maybe, but I don't think a defibrillator can as reliably kill somebody.
That's fair.
But I don't know that much about them. I just know that like they do have that potential because they like that's why they say that they're not ever anything you want to like do on someone who is not in a situation their heart stopped. Because otherwise, if like it's a faint heartbeat or something, it can just kill them.
You talking about the paddles?
Yeah,
the paddles.
See, the thing that I love about the defibrillator is that you're not even supposed to use it on someone whose heart is stopped.
Correct.
It's someone who's having an irregular heartbeat, which is the biggest lie movies have taught anyone, which is gonna get someone in real life killed someday because they don't.
Wait, do they really not?
Yeah, no, Jackson.
They really don't do anything?
No, yeah, you're not. They don't restart your heart. That's what like chest compressions are for, which are still like questionable at best. But like the defibrillator is supposed to stop your heart if it's going erratically so that it can get back on a steady cycle.
So in an ideal world, you would defibrillate and then, or you would chest compression and then defibrillate, like almost alternating to try and get it. Like if you want to get up and running, and then you just want to try and get it stabilized. I think. I don't know. I'm asking questions.
I don't know. Sam needs to be here for this. This is.
I was just thinking that Sam's gonna have so many angry thoughts about this.
I feel like Sam doesn't get as angry about our medical musings as you think she does, but she definitely gets angrier about them than I think she does.
But exactly as angry as Jackson thinks she does.
It looks like it says CPR is more effective because it's not usually like you don't need an electromagnetic shock to restart it in pretty much every case, and if that is the case, then it's not because you died. Which anyway, that doesn't really add up because I'm pretty sure they just take adrenaline to restart the heart, which I don't know if that's how that works either, but maybe.
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, I'm not either. But anyway, they use like adrenaline, but they have the adrenaline they get it from the ambulance. Or do they not? I honestly don't remember because I was just kind of like kind of confused at that point. But yeah, like they use adrenaline to restart the heart.
That also sounds fun.
But I just feel like you should still do that from inside of the moving vehicle when you're being chased by something on foot.
Or even just inside the vehicle. You can speed away, like even just 2 minutes away, you're far enough away that you can stop, apply the adrenaline without like risk of stabbing them incorrectly or something, and then start it again. Also,
there is not like a time. They could have driven for an hour with nothing bad would have happened other than they would have gotten farther away.
Well, why did they have to? I feel like this is asking stupid questions.
And that's why I just was kind of confused because like I just don't get that. And then like they're all like they're not as a group being attacked. They're attacking like specifically like a single member. And so instead of just using that to like create an effective bait, they instead make themselves all bait. It's just it doesn't really make. There's one other. I was just kind of like that. More than normal, because I'm not super picky usually about like a horror movie doing something illogical, because like it's whatever. It's
a horror movie.
Yeah, there's like there's witches and goblins and whatever. Like what am I gonna do? Be like, actually the goblin curse isn't real. But it's more of like I just feel like even if you don't have much medical knowledge, I would rather try and find things to stop and restart a heart in an ambulance than a grocery store.
Absolutely.
Finding adrenaline in a grocery store already shocks me.
That's why I'm thinking it must have been from the ambulance, but I just genuinely don't remember because I was kind of not tuned out, but just kind of like.
You were a little not paying attention. I think that's reasonable.
Well, And also the thing that was pursuing them was kind of tied to a specific area.
Oh
So
my
not only was
gosh.
it
Like-
dumb, but it was
Oh,
dumb
to Fear Street. It was tied to Fear Street,
not
USA.
literally, no, to like the town, but
Oh, well.
yeah, they could have
The town of Fear Street.
They could have just left the town, and then done everything they needed to do, and then
I won't lie, that's very funny. Very frustrating, but very funny.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, but I still want to watch the second one.
I still wanna-
Yeah, the second
You know
one's
what?
out. By the time this episode comes out, the third one will be out.
Wait,
Wow.
how
They're
often
really
do they come?
throwing
Wait,
them out
why are
there.
they? Wait, hold on.
Do you know how many there's going to be?
It's 94, I think it's 94, 76, and 1666.
94 and 78 are the ones that are out right now.
94,
and so then
78,
1666.
and then 1666.
Are
and
they
then
trying
it's
to do
done.
like an it thing where it's like it keeps happening?
Well, they're
Yeah.
going in reverse timeline, so I'm assuming it's
well,
the
I think
cycle and
there's
then the
more
origin.
events that are mentioned in the first one than just those three. So I don't know if they're just gonna gloss over some of them, but yeah, knows?
Let's be real. They just
I think-
wanted to title a movie 1666.
oh, absolutely. I still want to watch more of them because
Mhm.
it's still fun. Although about the second one, I'm a little confused because they kind of give away pretty much everything you need to know about it in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like, okay, so in 1978 there was an attack. There was only one survivor. This was her name, and this is what happened. And you're like, that makes me not really want to watch the movie about the thing you just told me.
Mm-hmm. We already know
Like
who
you told
the
me
one
the
survivor
name of
is.
the final survivor. You told me how they got away, and you told me where it was and how many people died. I'm like,
Calling it, which is going to sound really stupid because I'm most likely going to like watch these on the flight, but I'm going to assume that it's going to come down to two people, and then the person who dies is the person with the name, and the person who makes it out took their name.
yeah, there's gonna be some
Oh,
kind of like
definitely.
subversion of expectation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done that because otherwise it would just. But I still don't know what to expect, and I don't know. It's supposed to be like one of those like 70s camp slashers. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't know.
That's
See,
fun.
I have less and less patience for Netflix's original movies and shows. Sometimes they're really enjoyable and I like them a lot, but too many times I really just feel like Netflix is throwing things at a wall to see what sticks, and none of it sticks.
Yeah.
Oh, what was
They
it?
put out so much too.
I think it was. Let me check the name, but I think it was called The Money Heist.
Is that the one about the kids who like buy or like steal an actual U.S. mint printer?
Okay, so it's not Money Heist. Was it Coin Heist?
I think Coin Heist sounds right.
Coin Heist. Yeah, okay, so it was this movie. It felt like a Disney Channel original. That's how bad it was. And it was about a guy has been embezzling money technically under order of the principal of the private school so that they could afford some things, and then the principal burned him as a scapegoat. And the guy goes to prison, and then they had toured the US Mint, and they decided to steal they stole a coin stamp and made it into a flaw stamp, and then they recreated
sell.
the original but out of a fragile material so it would break and they would replace it. So they made a run of flawed coins so that they could introduce them tactfully and sell them. And at no point did they ever actually do anything like, oh yeah, if we do this, we'll help. Because they literally approached the principal at the school. They got caught and they're like, here's a box full of flaw coins, because they ended up printing out like 700,000 more than they had intended to. And
very normal mistake that everyone makes.
well, yeah,
Well, that just reduces the value astronomically of each one.
oh, that is indeed the problem. And they end up giving this case of flawed nickels or quarters or whatever to the principal so that he could raise money for the school. But they never do anything to get the kid's dad out of prison. And it's like,
And they never address the embezzlement.
no, they never do.
They just
the kids
take up-
literally directly tell the principal, we know you were the one who was actually embezzling and you made his dad take a fall. And he's like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? And they're like, we're going to work with you.
That's what?
No, it made no sense. And then at the end, they had their like 4 extra cases of quarters and they melted them down into a sculpture. And they just kept one each as a memento. But they made this giant sculpture out of melted flaw quarters out in the front of the school.
Sucks.
It was such a bad movie.
That sucks. Yeah.
Oh, don't watch Coin Heist.
I won't do it.
I watched it so you didn't have to.
There are some really bad Netflix originals.
Mhm.
There are some really good Netflix originals.
Yeah.
But I just feel like so many of them are just uninspired. Speaking of things that are good and inspired, though, you guys excited for Boss Baby 2?
Yeah, dude.
Is that why Boss Baby's been everywhere in my timeline?
Hopefully. Either that or you got some weird friends.
I just keep seeing Boss Baby places, and I'm not happy about it.
You know, we did only talk about Netflix original stuff today.
I guess
I
technically,
Think You
yeah.
Should Leave, and the Bo Burnham special, and Fear Street, and Space Stuff.
Damn. It is like that, though. Yeah. I don't know.
This has been the Netflix original podcast episode.
Welcome
Thanks
back.
for listening, I guess.
Netflix's original podcast.
Y'all have anything else to say?
No, dude, I think we covered quite a bit, to be fair.
I don't really want to break up the Netflix originality of it, you know? Originality. What the hell am I saying? You know what I mean, though.
It's okay. We forgive you.
Much like a Netflix original, this is going to end poorly and choppily.